power that fasting activates is the power to rule in the realms of spirits. Spirits control the affairs of life. The earth realm is like a theater, it's like a screen in the spirit realm. The reoperation does not happen here, it only manifests here. It's like the LED screen we are watching. These pictures you are seeing are a product of a very robust circuit system that projects the impulses that is transmitted through electric current. If you assume these pictures are my son, when a phone starts ringing, he will rush because he's wondering, how did somebody's head enter this phone and he's talking? Because he assumes somebody's head is inside the phone, so he's checking to look at. It's a complex manipulation. Everything happening on earth is orchestrated first in the realms of spirit. And so for a man to be a ruler in the natural world, he must be enthroned in the spirit realm. And one of the ways you enter the corridors of power in the spirit is by fasting. Jesus called his disciples in Luke chapter 10, and he told them, go cast out demons. And they went on the strength of his word, and they cast out demons and returned, and they were celebrating. Even the devils were subject to us. And Jesus didn't say anything. On another occasion, Jesus went to pray, and the same disciples went to cast out demons, and the demons will not go. And in Matthew 17, they came to ask him, why didn't the demon go? And Jesus told them, this kind, there is a this kind. He said, this kind goeth not but by prayer and by fasting. There is a demon you will cast out because you have a revelation. There's another demon that will want to find out if there is a consecration backing this your revelation. Because if there's no consecration backing this revelation, you are a talker. And one of the consecrations that demons call in the spirit to find ranking men is fasting and prayer. That's why when they went to Paul, when they went to the sons of Sceva to cast out devils, the guy looked at them and said, Jesus we know and Paul we also know. Because in this corridor, it's not only Jesus that is known. A man who believes in Jesus and backs it up with consecration, his name also becomes a scepter in the spirit realm. Because there is a power that God allocates to his servants. He called us to co-rule with him. But there are consecration that makes it happen. Even Jesus, the Son of God, walked in and out of the temple for 30 years. No demon saluted him. But the Bible said in Matthew chapter 4 verse 1, also in Luke 4:1, that he was driven to the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, and there he fasted and prayed for 40 days and 40 nights. In Luke 4:14, when Jesus was returning, he said, and he returned in the power of the Spirit, and his fame went abroad, and immediately he entered the synagogue. Demons began to scream, why have you come here? The question is that the first day he came there? He has been going there for 30 years. What happened? Jesus needed to activate the power, and it took fasting to activate it. In fact, in Matthew 4:15, he said, the land of Zabulon, the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentile. The people that sat in darkness have seen a great light. That death can continue in that family until somebody rises up. Because God can be in your boat, but you will sink. There are things you need to do to awaken the power of God that is on your inside. And one of the things you do to stir the power is by fasting. In Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20, it says God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think, according to the power that is at work on your inside. So if there's no power working on your inside, God will not be able to do. And the way you activate that power is to give yourself to prayer and fasting. Many Christians are wondering, God, where are you? He's on his throne because he's a king. His location has never been in doubt. He has been on the throne before time began, and he will be on the throne when time ends. But there is a protocol that is designed around the workings of the operations of his spirit and of his kingdom, and that protocol is fasting. Many can never give themselves to consecration. They are saying if it will happen, it will happen. That is one of the biggest deception of time. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Things are made to happen. If you don't know how to make things happen, it will never happen. to rule among spirits, power to rule among demons. Many don't know what happens in their spirit. They just leave their spirits porous and throw anything and everything there. The physical reflects the spiritual. Have you not seen young people with a lot of flesh, yet they are obese because they can't exercise their bodies? You find a guy so large, he can't carry a bucket of water. So much flesh, but no power. Put that guy in a gym, let him lift irons for 3 months. That flesh will be coupled, it will be recoupled, and that guy who was weak will suddenly come out and become a giant, a macho man. It's not about the flesh, it's about the exercise. So the power can be in your spirit, but it will be dormant. Every time we begin to fast, we excavate power, and suddenly you will discover that what you are looking for is not outside you, it's inside you. He said, with joy shall ye draw out waters from the wells of salvation. There is a power on your inside, but it will take fasting to fetch it. That's why demons mess up with people. If you become volatile through fasting, even the demons will advise themselves that this is not a place to be, because fly only perch on cold food. When you become hot, there's an intelligence in the fly realm to know that if you perch here, you are in trouble. There are men that demons tell themselves, don't go there. If you even fly over that house, there will be problem. You will not walk for 1 month because they are too volatile. They are volatile. They are volatile. Paul said, in fasting often I pray in tongues more than ye all. So they know him in the demonic realm. If you get him angry, there will be challenge. He knew how to walk power. Every Christian should rule among demons. It's our first, in fact, it's one of the signs that prove that we are Christians. He said, these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. And so when Christians begin to struggle with demons, it means they've not touched power. They've not touched what it takes to survive and to succeed in time. And may God not make a demon know that you are susceptible to him. Demons are wicked creatures. You must rule over demons. You must dominate demons, and you must subject them to do the will of God. But it will take a lot of fasting for the revelation to come alive, for the power to be stirred. And if that doesn't happen, you can't rule. Number 3, fasting. It takes fasting to start a worthwhile adventure in this life. If it's this life, you want to do something that will be etched on the sand of time. You want to do something that is global. You want to do something that is eternal. It will take a lot of fasting. A lot of fasting. In Acts chapter 13, from verse 1 to 2, it said 5 men gathered in Antioch. It said they were teachers and prophets, but they couldn't start a movement. It's not a title that starts a movement. It's a power. It takes a lot of power. He said they were there for 2 years. Nothing happened until suddenly, he said they fasted and ministered to the Lord. And the Holy Ghost said, separate unto me Paul and Barnabas for the work I have for them. That company will remain in your spirit. It will never manifest. That book will remain in your spirit. It will never be written. Any global and transgenerational venture you see in this life, there is a dialogue in the spirit that makes it happen. It has been there, it will be there, and it will never change. The Bible spoke about Moses. He had a burden to deliver Israel, but he couldn't. In fact, he thought it was about a strategy. He began with a strategy of killing the Egyptians. When the vengeance of Pharaoh rose up, nobody told him. He ran away for his life. He ran into the wilderness without anybody advising him. But a point came. The Bible said, and Moses went to Horeb, the mountains of God. And at the backside of that mountain, he saw a spirit. And the spirit told him to go tell my Pharaoh, let my people go. Even though he met God, he knew that there's something he needed to do on earth in order to release that power. And the Bible said Moses in Exodus 24 verse 18 fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days and 40 nights. When Moses began to engage the altar of fasting, he literally became a god. Until date, Moses cannot be forgotten. Do you know that when Paul was talking about the laws of God, he called it the laws of Moses? Moses had been immortalized. You can never forget him. When Jesus was about to go to do his own assignment, he took the appearance of Moses and Elijah to tell him what he must do in Israel. How can a man become so much of an immortal? Because there are protocols on earth that, when observed, puts the badge of immortality on you. Even Jesus, the Son of God, was on earth for 30 years. He could do nothing except as he fasted. He said Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. The moment he returned, the movement began. There is a fast you will fast, and a vision will appear to you. There is a fast you will fast, and the power to start that business will be released upon you. Men are not aware that there is a protocol in their spirit. How many die with potentials? It was Miles Moreau that told the story where he went to the grave and God told him, this is the wealthiest part of the earth realm. The wealthiest part, he says, is not a gold mine. It's where dreams are buried, books are buried, companies are buried, power for emancipation buried, because men can't pay prices. How can you leave this world and return to heaven with a vision in your spirit? How can you leave this world and return to heaven with a company that you feed 10 million people? Because you could not go on the altar of fasting for 21 days. You could not go on the altar of fasting for 40 days. You could not go on the altar of fasting for 1 year. There was a time I discovered my life was in a cycle. And in 2012, the Holy Ghost advised me. He said, if you want to fulfill this destiny, better leave food alone. The greatest of us fell, either by food or by our attraction to the opposite sex. You don't leave it, you become nothing. And from 2012 to 2017, I fasted every day from morning till night. 5 years. Before the fasting was over, I exploded. See, there is something on your inside that the world can't contain. He said he has put eternity in our hearts, but that eternity must erupt in order to swallow the world. And today, you have to refuse not to move around the world. You are on high demand. People say, even if it's 1 day, come. I'm leaving for Ghana on Tuesday. On Friday, I'm leaving for Manchester. I return from Manchester to Zambia. I return to Anambra State. I return to Lagos. As I'm leaving on Tuesday, I won't return until April 10th. And if I leave on April 14th, I won't return until April 24th. And that cycle can continue. What am I saying? I'm not preaching anything that have not been preached, but there's a power that men can't resist. When they hear you, they can't stop. They cannot, but they want to touch you. There's a power. There's a power. It's not about doing things new. It's not about doing a new thing. It's about coming fresh and coming with power. There's a power called anakazo. It compels men. 1,000 men can preach, but when you talk, your voice is like a sting. They can hear you. Even when they go to sleep, they can't sleep. In their dream, the voice is echoing. And God will deliberately put honor on your voice. And when you are talking, a man will sleep and encounter God. What is happening is a power. You can start a pure water business, but start it with power. And see what happens. It's not, see, when a spirit wants to manifest his excellency, he will get you to do something common. Something common. And a man selling pure water can be a millionaire. A man selling silpers can be a millionaire. A man doing what you consider. Somebody can be selling food and build an estate. And you are wondering what is happening. You are just there selling food, but the senator wants to eat that food. You are selling food, the governor wants to eat that food, and people are wondering, what is she putting inside? It's not about what is putting inside. It's the power with which she's doing it. It's the power. When the power comes, the word submits to you. I prophesy over someone, as we engage in this fasting week, you will step into a power that compels.
We call you
There are mysteries that make for power. You can be 17 years old and change your world. David caught a power at the age of 14 and he defeated Goliath. At 14, David was a national phenomenon. At 14, he had touched so much power that a point came. At 14, a nation was singing and they said Saul killed 1,000 but David killed 10,000. How can you compare a 14-year-old boy with a king? A king controls the economy of the nation. A king controls the security system of the nation. How can a 14-year-old be compared to a king? There's a power. There's a power. That power will not only make you conquer, it will also position you correctly. That you will do one thing and that thing will be so amplified that a whole nation will gather around you. I prophesy over someone the power to rule, the power to conquer, and the power to reign. Receive it now.